I shall try for a third time lucky. Welcome everyone to the Planning Committee here at Solihull. My name is Richard Holt, I'm Chairman of the Planning Committee.
So that residents near to the boundary but outside, such as Dingle Road, the industrial estate round the corner, for example, those sorts of people would then be eligible to come into this school. So walk time to school, it would actually be quite low. And interestingly, in terms of the pupils that already go to school at St Augustine's, the majority of them live very near to the primary school. So your conditions also recommend that that the local footpaths at Whitefields Road down to Monkspath Hall Road, that they are widened, and also those at Granborough Drive and Chelston Crescent. Now, the reason we want...
Members, thank you for the opportunity of addressing you this evening. I speak against this proposed planning application, and the level of anger and despair felt by local residents, in my experience, has been completely unprecedented. You're a resident, but I just want to say this. Whitefields Road is already a nightmare. To double the size of St Augustine's would make the road situation dangerous in the extreme and make the lives of local residents even more intolerable than the existing situation. But members, you are only being given half of the background to the principle of this development. We can build a new Roman Catholic school. It doesn't have to be this way, and I ask you to ask the officers tonight, what about in Peterborough, where they've just decided to build a voluntary aided Roman Catholic school that will accept 80%.
You are tonight asked to make a decision based on a report that is factually inaccurate. Crucial traffic figures are based on a show of hands from junior school children and 2 very brief site visits. Virtually no mention is made of road safety or parking, and the author does not understand the difference between a walking bus and park and stride. Furthermore, constant reference is made to sustainable travel. What is sustainable about travelling to school by car? 70% will travel by car, so it also does not fulfil the requirements of policy P7. Where are the 169 extra cars each day to park? Mitigation measures allow for only 25 extra places, and these will be occupied for longer due to the distance from the school. The figures just do not add up.
But where I have problems is with the work done by Transport and Highways, because I feel that the situation has been allowed to get to an untenable state, and there should have been some intervention far sooner on this, because now, until that remedy has been put in place and is working, you cannot exacerbate the situation even further. This is where we have to consider the impact of development. It's your responsibility, and it's not fair that it falls on you, but equally, it's not fair that this has fallen on the school, the parents of the children, or the residents in the area, and I think the only thing that can be done today is to refuse this application. Thank you.
And then we got a charged situation, and I travel that way a lot. We got a charged situation of reversing, driving in and driving out on that road, parents trying to get away in a rush, drop the children off in a rush because they have to get to work, they have to move on. And all of the chaos that I have witnessed in that area regarding the way in which the parking takes place. And we cannot factor further chaos into chaos. It is totally and utterly unmanageable, because the report on highways is probably, I don't be disrespectful to anybody, but one of the most wishy-washy, guessy reports I've ever came across. And we deserve better than a wishy-washy, guessy report.
This is an application where we have not heard from the school. We have heard no one from the school, and their application is before us. There may be an empty seat in front of us, but their application is here, and we are being told that
when the majority of children came out, the whole of Whitefields Road was one-way traffic. I saw in excess of 30 vehicles using Granborough Drive as a turning circle. Doveridge Close was completely blocked in both directions. I saw vehicles using people's drives to do three-point turns in Granborough Drive, and I saw people parked illegally on double yellow lines. I actually approached two of them with my council badge showing. My council badge wasn't showing else at the other times, but when I approached these, I asked them, I told them they were parked illegally, would they please move? I had verbal abuse from both drivers in that particular instance. So I wait to hear other members' views, but as it stands at this moment, I too cannot support this application.
Councillor Holland.
Thank you very much indeed, Chairman. And yes, I share
with some, good work that's going forward, and I hope it's going to have some effect. But even with the effects of the mitigations, I don't really think this is possibly the best site. And I'll be very interested to hear, based on some of what Councillor Tilsley said, with regard in the possibilities of basically looking at another site. Because with the existing schools in the area, I think there's already a huge amount of traffic in those areas at school times. So from a safety point of view and a traffic point of view, I'm not convinced this is the best site. Thank you, Chairman.
Councillor Allen.
Air quality, again, is something else that is a problem. It's all very well for the school to put up an air monitoring system in the playground, but it's really the pollution in the roads, the streets itself, that bothers residents, and quite rightly too. I really think that we should look at this again, and I can't support this. I've made my mind up. I can't support this application. Thank you.
So, from what I've heard tonight, I feel this council has an obligation and a responsibility to sort out the traffic problems they already have without adding to them and carrying on with more or even thinking about this. So I'm afraid I will not be supporting this application.
Councillor
Hyde. Second of all, I'm mindful, I think there was a question about what's the difference between a walking bus and a park and stride. Well, a park and stride is for a teacher and a child, where the teachers and children, so it's actually the, the employee from a school. Other way around. Okay, sorry. It's the other way around, I'm being whispered. Park and stride is a parent and child, whereas a walking bus is for the teacher. The teachers.
For refusal, the strongest reason for refusal, which is the highway matters. And whatever mitigation is talked about is trying to have a cosmetic field over the situation. And any cosmetics is not going to resolve the serious parking problems which exist now. Now. And if they were so concerned about the parking around the schools and the danger that happens on a daily basis to road users in that particular area, there is a serious danger, Chairman. The local authority should have done something about it before now. And to wait for this application and try to drive it through, that's how I see it, drive this application through on these proposals of mitigation, which seems to be a wish list, I can't support it on that. And I would strongly recommend that we reject this application on highway safety grounds, safety to the road user, safety to the children, safety to the people who have to drop off their children. And even if, when this application, I'm hoping, will be refused, I hope the local authority looks at the parking situation and the dangerous situation that exists at the present time and have a plan to try and mitigate the situation as it is now. That should be done. Seriously, that should be done. So my humble advice to the chairman and to the officers and everybody else, that we refuse the application on highways grounds. Unless Councillor Grinsell has something else to add to it.
Would you like to?
Certainly, Chairman. I always think, as I've already done, Councillor Ryan, and yes, I've sort of, I will be, if that is a proposal from Councillor Ryan, I'm happy to second that proposal. And I've highlighted various different items that encompass not only what Councillor Ryan's mentioned. I mentioned policy P14, and I also note paragraph 109 of the framework. So there are a few reasons that can be put forward in planning terms for this application to be refused.
So, members, I detect a mood within the room that we should proceed to a vote. The recommendation before us is one of approval subject to conditions. Can I ask all those who are in favour of approval to raise their hands?
Nobody in favour.
So we now need to, I think, prepare some reasons for refusal. And I would suggest that we have a 5-minute adjournment, and I'd invite Councillor Grinsell as Vice Chairman and Councillor Ryan to come with me into the adjournment to prepare some conditions to propose to the committee together with officers. So we'll vacate the room to do that.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, two reasons of refusal have been put forward, and the first one is suggested as the proposed development provides for this school expansion from 210 pupils to 240 pupils between September 2020 and September 2026. The increased number of plan. Thanks.
So that those are the reasons given for a proposal for refusal. If you could formally move that, please.
I'm happy to move that, Chairman.
And seconded by Councillor Grinsell.
Chairman, if I may, sorry, just for total clarity, the increase goes up to 420 pupils. I think I read out 240, so it's 420 in the first reason.
All those in favour of Councillor Ryan's proposal?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Unanimous, Chairman.
That's carried. That concludes that item. Thank you.